Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
Uh, what are we doing today?
Age gap.
Ooh, it's Mandy's favorite.
Yes, I love this one.
I know you do. Okay, before we get started with that, what housekeeping do we have?
Well, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to miss out on the fun. Also, if you have not gotten your book bug subscription to Coveted Cover, make sure you check down below for the rep code to save 10% off.
Yay! Okay, so you love a good age gap. We have 10 new age gaps. Do we need to tell them anything before we dive into it?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, it's age gap.
I mean, our age gap is like age gap, not like he's 28 and she's 24. Like,
And I think part of that for us is our husbands are a lot older than us, so I feel like I need an age gap. If you tell me it's like 5 years, I'm like, wah wah, you know what I mean? So
well, for me, I just like more of the taboo, the difficulties
yeah,
of a true age gap. Now, reverse age gap, I feel can be a little bit less in the number to be impactful.
exactly. So okay, so let's start. Let's
Okay.
do it to it. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is one that I read about a week ago. This is Breaking the Girl by Eva Marks. This is dark. This is weird. This is taboo. I don't want to say it's weird. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. So this is a best friend's dad. This is about Leighton and Marcus. So I think he said there was 19 years difference in age between these two. So when Leighton is 17, she has been spending a lot of time. So she's best friends with his daughter, and she stays at their house all the time. When she's 17, he realizes that he's got feelings for her. Now, Marcus is a psychologist, and so he does see a psychologist, or he's a therapist. But it's not psychologist. It's what is it called, Mandy? Do you remember?
A psychiatrist?
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. So he's a psychiatrist, but because he's a psychiatrist, he has a psychiatrist that he sees, so that he can just kind of talk things out. It's hard on them to be around patients with a lot of mental health issues, and so they discuss it and whatever. So he is talking with someone about his feelings, and he doesn't touch her at all. He actually encourages her and his daughter to go away to college across the country so that they're far away from him and that he can deal with these feelings and talk them through. Well, that doesn't work, obviously. So they come back from college at the age of 22. She's about ready to go to New York, and his daughter has some hidden secrets and some hidden jealousies about women being around her father. And so in order to protect her, he kidnaps her and takes her to a house that he had built for her, and might try to breed her. So, but that age gap is there, and that is a big no, but works for them. So,
yeah. Okay.
He also hypnotizes her because he does hypnotherapy. So she's his doll. It was good. It was, I mean, like I said, not for everybody, but it was good.
Okay.
Okay,
next I have Wicked Scandal by Rachel Lee. And so this is about Catherine. Catherine's hubs is the mayor of the town, and he has a lot of power. She is the high school English teacher, which he very reluctantly allowed her to do this. And he is very much you will be on my arm and you will do what I say, and your life is basically to make me look better. And when she doesn't, he gets very abusive. And she has a student, Wilder. He's a senior, and he witnesses her mistreatment, and it enrages him. Like, he is not okay with this, and he wants to help her. He also runs a social media account, which our Catherine does enjoy watching. And she takes some inspiration a little bit from some of the stuff he says, and she starts to kind of fall for him. And he is very taken with her and just desperately wants to get her out of this really bad situation. But her husband is the mayor and he has a lot of power.
Okay. All right. So the next book that I have is fantasy, but it's also a novella. And this is The Blacksmith in My Tavern by L.V. Lane. This one was so much fun. So this is about Betsy and Heath. So at the beginning of this book, we see where Betsy was taken by these orc guys. They call them the Blighton, and they're basically selling women that they find in the town. I don't know where they're selling them to. I can't remember. But anyhow, it's a part of the whole fantasy world. And when she's taken captive by them, she's put in these cells down in a basement. And she knows that her father, who is the tavern, who runs the tavern, is going to save her. And her father has connections with Heath. Heath has a son that is Betsy's age. They're probably late teens, early 20s. I don't think we were ever told exactly how old they are. But Heath and Betsy's father get together this group of guys who are fighting the Blight, and they're kind of like an underground fighting force. And they break in, they get her out. And when that happens, it's Betsy's always had a crush on Heath. She's always had a thing for Heath, but at this point she's decided she's not going to hold back anymore. Heath kind of sees her in a little bit of a different light at this point, but he's very reluctant to have this relationship with her. And I just love it because there were points in this book, which I can't really say much more because obviously, you know, but there's points in this book where Betsy is the pursuer and she pursues. And like, there's a point where she's done something to him. She's touched him in a certain way. And he's like, you can't do that. I am old enough to be your father. Like, you can't do that. And she's like, fine, I'll go do it with a boy who is my age. And then Heath's like, well, wait a minute. So I really like this one. And it was a quick, fun read. So
Okay.
next.
Okay, next I have Stowaway Whirlwind by May Alder. And this is about Marigold. Marigold's 19, she's pregnant, and she is trying to make her way to her dad's place in another state. And she's found herself in a pretty crappy situation, so she is hitchhiking. And that situation goes really badly, so she sneaks into an 18-wheeler to try and just get some rest and continue her journey. And Davis is a little shocked to find her in his 18-wheeler as he is driving down the road. But he finds himself very drawn to her and starts to feel very protective of her and her baby as he agrees to take her to her dad's house. But through lots of turns of events, he ends up being the one taking her to the hospital and from there to have the baby. And from there, he claims her. But he is significantly older than her. She is only 19. She's pregnant and having somebody else's baby. So we got a lot of stuff going on there. And then we do end up with a pretty impressive breeding kink towards the middle end of the book.
I know. I really want to read that one. It's on my Kindle. I just haven't got to it yet because, you know, it and 3,000 other books are on my Kindle, but I really want to read that. So the next book I have is by Claire Kent. This is Princess, and this is in her Kindle series. So this is in her post-apocalyptic world. It is the second, technically the third book in this series because the first one doesn't count, but you can read it as a standalone. So this is about Olivia and Grant. Olivia is at college at this prestigious school, and it's a high school because she's 18. When they get word that there's an asteroid headed towards Earth, or at least her dad gets word. Her dad is an elite. He's got a lot of money. And so he gets word that that's what's happening. And he sends Grant, who is military, to go pick up his daughter because he has secured them a place in a specific bunker underground, and they will avoid all the chaos that's about to ensue. Grant is our strong, silent, don't talk to anybody, grumpy kind of guy. And he and her are in this bunker together, and she doesn't really see him in that way at first. She's fairly young. Her father passes away very quickly once they get down into the bunker of, I think it was like cancer or something. And they have now been in the bunker for 5 years, and she's no longer 18. He's in his early 30s. And he has kept his distance from her. He has stayed away from her. She thinks he doesn't like her, but it's not because he doesn't like her. It's because he promised her dad he wouldn't touch her. You're alone in a bunker together. things are going to happen. And audio just came out, I think, this last week for this book.
So my next one is one we both read, which is Deception by BJ Alpha. It's reverse age gap, which I typically hadn't been liking, but I would say lately I have been loving reverse age gap. So we have Rocco. He's grown up in the mafia world. So even though he is still a teenager, he is literally a made man. So he is very much an alpha hero or anti-hero, maybe, in this story. And he meets Hallie when I think it's like his 16th birthday party, and he becomes extremely smitten with her. And like my other reverse age gap, she is not in a great relationship, and it is with her husband, who is like, is he like the chief of police, I think?
Yeah, something like
He
that.
holds a lot of power in this town, and Rocco's family is kind of at odds with him a little bit because they're heavily into the mafia. But Rocco stalks her and manipulates his way into her life, and like, I mean, hardcore manipulates his way into her life to get her. And he does this, he befriends her son. I mean, he just does so much to get into her life, and she is also going to be in a little bit of danger, and Rocco is going to have to step up. I just loved this one so much. I mean, we also have, of course, like that breeding kink in here, but it was so good.
There was a daddy kink in there too. And I remember going into it going, how?
Oh, but it works.
Oh, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Again, I think one of the reasons I don't like reverse age gaps sometimes is because the guy has to be a really strong alpha hero for me to be like, why would this older woman want anything to do with you?
Yeah.
And I mean, BJ writes Rocco perfectly.
So well.
And we've already, if you've read some of the other books, you've already been in that world, so you already know kind of what's going on. So it's not a stretch to see him the way she writes him at all.
Exactly. So, okay. So the next book I have to talk about is one that I read last month. And that, shockingly enough, is Volu by Dylan Page. I'm going to say that you do probably need to read a row before you go into this one so you understand fully what's happening. And we do see some of those characters in this book. But this is about Stephanie and Volu. So Stephanie and her friends are on a kayaking trip in 1974. Stephanie is very timid, very quiet. She's had some abuse and bullying in her life. She wears glasses, and that is important. And she's struggling on this kayaking trip with these girls from college. She's the one that always kind of lags behind, and there's a reason for it. She hides quite a bit, and the girls get separated. Some traumatic event happens. The girls get separated. Her kayak crashes, and she's found on the shore of the river by a cave woman, basically, who keeps referring to her as a baby. They use their language, but because they're in this forest that has been closed to the public for many, many years. So these guys are all hiding out in there. Refers to her as a baby because she's so tiny. She's a very petite, and this older lady thinks that she's a baby, and so she takes her home to be her baby, and that is where she meets Volu in the cave. Now we know that Volu is a lot older because our heroine is in her first year of college. She's 18 still, and the hero has dark hair with gray in his beard and his hair, so we know he's quite a bit older, and he is insisting that she's not a baby and that she belongs to him, but the older lady's like, no, she's a baby, look at her. And so there's that push and pull, like he's too old to touch her kind of a thing. They think she's a child. It is so good. I loved it so much, and I cannot wait for the third book in the series. Just saying. All right.
Okay, my next book is Inevitable by Jenna Hartley. And this is Dad's best friend. So we have that age gap and that taboo happening strong here. So Summer's dad is a little controlling, and he wants what's best for his daughter. So he thinks that she needs to do an internship. So he sets her up to intern with his best friend, Jonathan. Jonathan's like a real estate dude and has lots of different properties and things like that. So he sets this up. Summer is not really interested in doing it, but she does it anyway. And there she meets Jonathan, and Jonathan starts to really see the woman she is, what her ambitions are, which just kind of inevitably leads to the two of them wanting to be together. But he's her dad's best friend, and like that's his best friend's kid. So when you kind of think about it in those terms, it makes a relationship a little tricky. So age gap, definitely taboo happening there.
Okay. The last book that I have is Mafia. And that is, I can't hold my book open and talk at the same time, apparently. So that
Sorry.
is Virtuous Lies by Hallie Jenner. And this one is about, let me just get that done. This one is about Bianca and Vincent. So Bianca and her sister, Bianca's 18, and her sister are both supposed, like they're both in arranged marriage situations. Like they're not married yet, it's been arranged. She finds out who they're going to get married to, and the person that her sister is supposed to get married to is very cruel. He is the consigliere to the mafia guy that's their Don, and he is horribly cruel. And so she decides that she is going to try to get this guy to marry her instead. And when that doesn't happen, he actually ends up dead later that night. She goes to see him, but and try to convince him, and it's a thing. So her family, so when the book starts out, this guy's dead. Her family thinks that she has slept with him because she was alone, and she's told everybody that she has slept with him and that she has, lost her, virtue. And so she's wondering if they're going to kill her or what they're going to do with her, because now she can't marry the guy that her father has set up for her to marry, to strengthen the ties for the family. So the sister ends up getting engaged to that one. And she ends up getting given to the consigliere who has taken the place of the one that has been murdered, and that is his brother. But he is 30. So she is 18 and this guy is 30. And the age comes up quite a bit. But they're forced to get married. So there's that.
Okay.
Okay.
So my last one is Big Daddy by Daisy Jane. So we have Winnie. Winnie's best friend is Brielle, and Brielle's dad is just kind of an a-hole. He has worked his whole life as a high-powered attorney. He makes a lot of money, and he has made Brielle's life very easy for her, but he has really withheld like emotional love and that sort of thing. It's always like, well, I pay for this, so you should do this, or you should have this, like that sort of parenting style is what he's been like. And so Winnie has jokingly nicknamed Brielle's dad Big Daddy. And one day, Winnie is at Brielle's apartment, and her life is just kind of really, it's been a struggle for her. It's kind of fallen apart in some areas, and she's just really feeling overwhelmed. And she's kind of having a breakdown. So she's crying, and he comes in, and he is bothered to see her crying. He's never met her before. He's heard a lot about her, but he's just never met her, and he's bothered by this. And so he decides that he's going to take action and try and make some things better for her, which eventually ends up leading to Winnie getting a job with him at his law firm, because he finds out that she sells feet pics and he is not okay with that. And he basically tells her she will absolutely not be doing that. And he kind of starts to control her life a little bit as well. And Winnie sees him a little bit differently than her best friend does, and she starts to fall for him. And they have really good conversations. She helps him understand that what's going on with her, like the way he's treating his daughter, is not the best way to go about it, and that he comes off as this big a-hole, and that's not how he wants to be. So we see so much character development in this book with him as well. But Winnie also, Brielle's like been the only one there for her. So she really, really is struggling with this. And then Big Daddy is struggling with this as well, because he wants to repair the relationship he has with his daughter. And it's hard for him. So I really love this. Age gap, and my favorite, Forbidden Taboo Love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go read Big Daddy.
Okay. All right, guys. So there's 10 more age gap recs for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I love age gap. Like these are just recent ones. I mean, I could probably do a video of like 100. And we have other age gap videos as well, so you can go check those out. But as always, we love to hear what some of your favorites are. And I'm always searching those comments for ones that I still need to read. So tell us in the comments below What are your thoughts on each guy? Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you have some favorites. Tell us everything. We love to interact with you down there in those comments.
Yep. And when this video comes out, you and I will be together for the day, which will be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my birthday. Yay.
Yeah, Jessica's birthday's coming. I hope that you get 45 books for your 45th birthday.
You know, I'm not counting on that. I get my mastectomy tattoos on my birthday, and I think that's enough this year. I will be listening to books while that's happening, but I'm still not counting on 45 books. That was a lot last year.
That would be awesome. I hope you get it.
We'll see. I did send my husband a list.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we will see you guys in the next video, and I will see you on Thursday.
Yeah. So make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and also check on Wednesdays. We have some great author interviews coming up.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.